All right, let's get into student loan forgiveness. Joe Biden says he's not confident Supreme Court will clear student loan forgiveness plan. President Biden on Wednesday, yesterday, said he's not confident that the Supreme Court would decide to clear his student loan forgiveness plan, while the majority conservative court weighs the case. Quote, I'm confident we're on the right side of the law. I'm not confident about the outcome of the decision yet, end quote, the president told reporters at the White House. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments on Tuesday on challenges to his student loan plan, which would eliminate up to $20,000 in student debt for millions of Americans. Biden and the White House have consistently expressed confidence in the legal authority for the president to implement the plan through executive order. And the White House this week has shed away from discussing any alternative or plan B if Supreme Court strikes it down. The plan, quote, the plan that we put forward in August is the plan that we have, which is also a plan that you heard the Solicitor General really defend in a strong and powerful way yesterday. And that's our plan. And we believe in our legal authority to get that done and get that implemented. And this was by Press Secretary Corinne Jean-Pierre, who speaks for the president. The U.S. Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar represented the Biden administration at Supreme Court this week and attempted to fend off challenges from 6 GOP-led states, as well as separate challenges from 2 individuals. Our focus right now is getting this done. You saw the Solicitor General really give a strong argument yesterday in front of the highest court in the land. Now, the Biden administration has tied the relief to the emergency established during the pandemic. The Supreme Court decision on this case may not come until May or June, which is typically when court tends to give its most controversial decisions. Real quick, the question that will decide the fate of Biden's plan is if Congress clearly gave authority for the executive branch to forgive debts through the Higher Education Relief Opportunities for Students, HEROES Act. The White House has appointed to law repeatedly throughout the last 6 months because it gives the education secretary the authority to waive or modify federal student financial assistance programs when deemed necessary in connection with national emergency. So,
well, the point is that the national emergency has to be reasonably related to the relief. The other thing is that's why I reposted this article with the railroad tank cars on there about, I put it second, third time, read it, because people think it's about the tank car derailment. It's not. It's how an astute and wise person who is sophisticated can run game on the public. Now, let's look at the game that's being run here. The cutoff for this is $125,000 per person. If you make over that, you get no relief. If you make under that, you do. But this is the only place in the entire world where if you have a 4-year college degree, you are not going to be making $125,000 a year or its equivalent 5 years after you get out of school. The only place. So why is it that all of these students are getting bamboozled by what has been done by the American economic situation so that a 4-year college degree does not, in fact, result in an income into the middle class level? Because heads up, if you aren't making 125K single, you aren't middle class. So don't delude yourself. The name of the game has changed, and getting a college degree is like getting a high school diploma, used to be. But aside from that, here's the other thing. Are these Republican governors actually trying to attack it, or are they doing what was revealed in that article, attacking it because it looks good with an expectation of losing because they want to lose? Now, what's behind this? If these loans are excused, what happens is they are guaranteed by the feds. So that means that the banks don't have to wait years to get paid back through installments from all of these students. They don't have to have expensive collection departments. They don't have to have skip tracers to track people down. They don't have to have filing fees to go through an expensive legal department to sue people in court. They don't have to go through the expensive and time-consuming changes of collecting. They get all of their money right now from the feds, plus all of the interest that would have accrued had the loans been paid off in a timely fashion as per the agreement with the student. So the feds ensure that they take care of that. So in other words, instead of waiting 10 years, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6 years to get your money, you get it all in one lump sum. You get all the interest you would have earned. You don't have to hire lawyers. You don't have to have a collection department. You save all that money. You get them cash in hand. And that is a boom. And then maybe the Republican Party doesn't represent the banks anymore like they used to. Maybe it's the banks get represented in favor of the lending institutions by the Democratic Party like they once did or started getting done under the Clinton administration. So the banks tend to make a killing off of this. The loan institutions are going to make a killing off of this, and the folk who got helped out are still piss poor broke compared to their college educations that they spent 4 years getting. So who got ahead? See, that's the name of the game.
Okay, so do you think that the Supreme Court will approve the Biden administration to what? Because I think they just want to wipe out 10,000 of student loan.
Well, it depends on what they're doing. See, the legal arguments are interesting. They could go either way, but remember, the backgrounds for the people that the far left hates on the Supreme Court are actually supposed to be in favor of lending institutions historically. But if you look at the last 3 people Obama nominated, including the one that's now the Attorney General for the United States, and the last 2 women that got approved under the Obama administration, they were all consultants for Goldman Sachs, AKA finance. So you might have a surprise in that 2 of the confirmed newbies on the Supreme Court under Obama have tie-ins with financial interest that would be helped out by this proposal by the Biden administration. So they might vote to go along with saying, okay, you can wipe it out. On the other hand, you might have the ideological problem that goes along with we're supposed to be conservative. We got brought in for that, and explain how you can do this, because you see the background is when you cherry pick what you want to benefit, that means you don't set any precedents or any rules. That just means any administration can cherry pick. So there are some nasty things that open up, and this Supreme Court does not seem to be very politically savvy. Maybe what they did with this Roe v. Wade matter might give them the impetus to become politically sophisticated, but the timing of that decision was about as bad as it has ever been in the history of this country. They should have deferred until after the November election cycle and issued the opinion on that case this upcoming May and June rather than when they did last year. See, very stupid move.
Listen, I'm not paying back my loan.
Well, we used to say,
that's my reparations.
Well, we used to say when we had student loans, and they weren't anywhere near as horrible as these loans are, because when I went to UCLA, the University of California did not have tuition, nor did the state college, nor did the junior colleges, and we didn't have to pay that back. So that's gotten astronomical.
And
but
it's really the interest rates that's killing you. That
Yeah, and
keep-
then to see, here's what, speaking of interest rates, our story was, Black students back then, here it was. Why am I not paying it back? Because I am in dealing with self-help. It's called reparations. In other words, what's going on is this is a small portion of the interest due, compounded semi-annually at a reasonable rate on 40 acres and one goddamn army mule.
Thank you.
So that's what we told. So what wound up happening is years later, I wound up settling it with the feds, and what it was, I think it was a nickel on the dollar. So I just got it out the way.
What do you mean you paid it, or?
Yeah, all I had to do was pay a nickel on the dollar due. A nickel or a dime, I forgot which.
Okay, so I'm a subscriber here at Juan and Chill, and I like her channel. I think she's a lawyer. So she was talking about the student loan forgiveness update. And she did several videos on this. I just want to play this quick clip. And guys, go subscribe to Juan and Chill. So she was talking about, she pulled up a video of her talking about how much she paid in 2022. Let's see.
Edit for me. Out of that total number that I paid,
back.
just how.
Okay.
Let me make this big. Prior year. Listen to this. So I paid last year, according to my Form 1098E, which I marked down. It'll be on the screen because I can't remember right now off the top of my head exactly how much I paid total. It is around $30,000. The exact number will pop up on the screen in post edit for me. Out of that total number that I paid towards my student loans in the year of 2022, guess how much of that was interest? I'll tell you. $15,809.33 trifling cents.
So she makes six figures because she's a lawyer, worked for corporate.
You may or may not make six figures. It depends on how long you've been practicing and what your background experiences is. Usually,
no.
That's okay.
Listen.
Cheap.
This is the point I'm trying to make here. Wait 1 second.
Yeah.
So in 2022 alone, and now she's full-time YouTuber, but in 2022, she paid a total of $30,778. I can't phantom that, but she paid it, right? And she said that 15,000 actually went to her actual debt. The other 15 went to interest. That's crazy. And
that's the way it works. But you see, you know where this is screwed up? It's the national policy to set this garbage up. China, our number one competitor, you don't have to pay anything for a higher education. You go as far as you can. Otherwise, you work in an unsafe factory or in a rice paddy and human excrement and urine up to your bare knees. So you have your choice. The former Soviet Union, now Russia, you don't have to pay anything to go to college. You go as far as you can at government expense, or you have some other more productive things you do. Here, they want to charge everybody an arm and a leg and a house mortgage to go to college, and then they can't even clear $125K a year. You don't even make middle class. Now, to give you some perspective, when I first got out of law school, not so long after I got out, I was the first Black prosecutor they hired for the city of Memphis. My salary a year was $10,000. And the judges got paid $18,000 a year. That's what they got. The city councilman got paid $2,500 a year. So it's all relative, but you could buy a Datsun 2000, which was the equivalent of a 300X, 350, or a hot Rice Rocket sports car. You could buy one fully equipped, tax license and big rims and 8-track AM FM radio. You get the whole thing for $2,400. Now, inflation kicked in And you got somebody, Ronald Reagan, who was governor of California. He said he didn't believe in free public education. And he became president, and that whole thing spread. So now you guys keep voting for a party that won't do a damn thing for you when it comes to that. See, public education is an investment in the human infrastructure of a country. And we've let our roads and bridges and highways decay. We've let our utility structures decay. We've let our pipelines, our power lines, our waterways decay, and we're letting our people decay in terms of what they're doing relative to the rest of the world. So this is our fault. If you don't like what's going on, watch who you vote for. And meanwhile, why didn't something like this get done before? Or how about this one? They pay off your student loans, give you an excuse. You still goddamn broke because you ain't making that $125K a year that everybody else in the known world makes if they have a 4-year college degree. So why you got to be on the bottom of every damn thing and you're running around with all this stupidity and ignorance that you get all excited about? And who's doing what in a bedroom that may be strange, or getting their freak on, or freaks come out at night and it gets outside, and that's more important than this kind of thing. See, you need to pay attention.
Well, the thing is, with the student loans, it is a business, and I was going to say something and I totally forgot. It is a business. This is what it was. Why is it that you have a college degree? Why is it that in America you're not paid enough money? Why is it that
that's the point?
These corporations,
they want you to have a college degree,
but then they don't want to pay you.
It's not corporations. It's your goddamn member of the House that's supposed to be representing you from your congressional district. It's the character that represents you in the state legislative bodies, Senate and House. That's who you need to get on.
Okay.
See, don't blame the corporations. Remember, they're fictional people. They just, like everybody else, get away with what they can get away with.
No, but you're right. They are considered a person. That was on the 14th Amendment, 15th Amendment.
15th.
And so, okay, yes, we'll say if we do get on our local House representatives, who we vote in per state, but at the same time, those corporations, they're going to those same representatives that their corporations in and paying them to vote their way because they have
go to followthemoney.org, followthemoney.org. It's more, and you'll see who's been owning and buying and purchasing your representative.
This is a thing. This is a theory, because the corporations have more money than we, the people. So how can we compete against them? The only way possibly that we can compete, say if we do go to Follow No Money and we see one of our Tennessee local representatives is constantly being bought and paid off by whatever local corporation. So can the people boycott? Yeah, can the people boycott these corporations?
Excuse me. Yeah, you can. And by the way, corporations are not incorporated by the United States of America. They are a creature of a given state. They are state entities, which means you have a degree of local control, and other states can recognize a created corporation created by the action of another state, like Halliburton that the Bushes own, that Obama's family ties give him an interest in. Where did it get incorporated?
Where?
Was it Texas, where George Herbert Walker Bush was, or George Walker Bush was? Was it Massachusetts, where Prescott Bush was, or Illinois, or Kansas, No, it was incorporated by an uncle, Uncle Herbert Walker, George Herbert Walker, in 1946 in Oklahoma. It had previously been incorporated in 1919 in Oklahoma. It went bust and he recharted it. So Oklahoma Corporation, licensed to do business in Texas, Massachusetts, New York, California, and everywhere else, is a creature of Oklahoma. So what needs to be done if you want to control corporations is use your state legislators to regulate what happens with the corporations that are created by that state or the state in question. Now, how many votes does a corporation get?
Don't they get a board of trustees or something?
No, how many votes do they get in an election?
Oh, I don't know.
0.
Wait. Oh, because they're not a real person to go in the booth and vote.
Yes, they're inchoate person. They're a fictional person.
So then
Remember?
why are they allowed to contribute to a campaign?
Yes, that's the point. So why don't you go to followthemoney.org and find out how much money these fictional people have been paying the real people that are supposed to represent you, so they don't represent you. They represent these fictional entities.
And they influence the laws in their favor.
Exactly. So turn them out. Every now and then, they have to get elected. And when you're talking about a statewide district, you're not talking about the whole country where you need millions of voters. Hell, most of the state offices are filled by 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15,000 votes. So turn them out.
So
find out and quit being loyal because they got a grin and they came down and remembered your mama's birthday. See what they're doing for you. Or they came by a funeral of granddaddy and you ain't even seen him yourself in 9 years.
And it's funny.
It's pretty disgusting that we have what used to be the best educational system in the whole world. We are now down somewhere in the 30th ranked in the 30s. What happened? Right. Where everybody else in the whole world makes more money with a 4-year college education relative to their income levels where they live than we do.
And that's the thing. I forgot what I was about to say. You made me forget.
Look what they're doing with the teachers, just while you're thinking about it. Right now, a lot of America has turned its educational system on the primary and secondary level over to an entity that operates under the aegis of Teach America. Teach America, where they can get away with it legislatively, is no longer hiring 4-year college graduates. You only need a 2-year associate degree. And what are they starting them off at? $28,000 to $32,000 a year. So they worked up a political agreement where if you teach for 2 years in an inner city school, you get your loan agreements wiped out. So you get people who have gotten loan agreements, and that also extends to all of your undergrad financial arrangements. You get them wiped out if you teach 2 years in an inner city school. So you go get a boyfriend or a girlfriend who is progressing through college and looks like they might want to go into dental school, medical school, business school, law school, and you support them doing teaching at $28,000 to $32,000 a year, which is on the poverty level for one person. You get your student loans excused. You still wind up with the education that you can use later for something else. And that's what we put in place, this kind of messed up scheme. Meanwhile, who the hell is supposed to be going through all of getting 4 years worth of college and getting in debt up the kazoo where you pay $15,000 a year in interest, and all you start off with, if you have a 4-year degree in a lot of states, $40,000, $45,000 a year.
Mhm.
It isn't even worth it. It doesn't even compute. And meanwhile, other thing too about her doing the YouTube stuff, that's nice. But I remember when I was trying to make ends meet, when I first started practicing law, I was doing some other things. Some of the old hands said, "Yo, what the hell's wrong with you?" Well, man, I got to make ends meet. Screw all that stuff, man. Just take more cases. And you can make 3 times the money in your law office than you're making trying to get ends to meet going outside of it.
A lot of people talk about this woke stuff, woke this, woke that, right? Woke studies and stuff. And the thing is, listen, nobody here right now in America is woke because, the Republicans, they're talking about, oh, woke is not good. And then the Democrats is saying, we need more woke this. None of it is nobody doesn't know what it means to be woke, because what you just laid out, and what you just explained, as far as politicians being bought off by these corporations who are fictional people, but they buy off these politicians to make laws in their favor, which means that we, the people, there are things that we could do, exposing them, boycotting these corporations and exposing these politicians that take their money. We could be highlighting and exposing them and making sure that the people that we elect to go to Congress are actually fighting for our needs, such as getting rid of interest rates on these loans. Now, if he—
Oh, wait a minute. Let's go deeper than that. How about we get somebody in office that understands that the future of the country depends on the human infrastructure? So why have we got it set up where we pay all this money for folk to get their dicks cut off, balls cut off, and hormone treatments instead of putting it in college degrees? Do you know how much that surgery cost? And then you turn it around, that's almost $1.5 million that the taxpayers are subsidizing. Why don't you put that into educating people?
Yes, because we're not pushing out a lot of doctors like we once were, or even lawyers. A lot of these doctors are coming in from other countries.
We have too many lawyers. I'll tell you that. There are too many.
We need more doctors and scientists. And if you notice, the more doctors and scientists are coming from other countries.
Now, how about the woke bunch? Man, I need to be growing some fruit and vegetables, man, on my own land, man. And I don't need to be dealing with white supremacy, man. All I got to do is grow the food, man, and live healthy. Nobody has done that since the middle of the last ice age. Where the hell have you been?
Yeah, it's like that concept, you have to make it modern. Because listen, there are things that we could, as the people, do, and we're not doing it. We have to do our research. We have to personally start talking to our local representatives as a group, where you live at, be organized. You have to go to followthemoney.org. You have to start exposing these politicians and these corporations. You have to boycott. What makes people listen is when you start slowing down the money, the participation. So student, and you know what? And then too, even with the student loan debt, because listen, he was only going to wipe out 10,000, Joe Biden, which is being presented here in Supreme Court. How about just get rid of the interest rate? I'm fine. Just get rid of the interest rate.
But you can't do that. Why can't you do that?
I don't know. Why can't you?
These fictional people, the corporations that are banks, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So this fictional person, the corporation that is this bank or financial institution, has a substantial property interest, i.e. the interest on loans that have been extended. You just can't wipe it out without due process of law. So you can't legislate somebody out of
at the court, right?
Yeah. So you see, that's where you get into that. I was leading to that.
It seems like the banks, the financial institution, have more power than we, the people. So
no, they think about it. You see, the people that operate these corporations, that's their job. They think about it. They don't sleep. They get 4 3 hours of sleep a night, every night. And that's it. And they stay awake and they take hell of a vacation, but they get lots of money that they put away so they can take the vacations, and they
know how
work
the
their
system
behinds
works
off
in and out,
60,
and they
80 hours a
manipulate it.
week. So what are the rest of us doing?
Everything else. So that's what I'm saying.
Everything but.
They know how the system works in and out, and they manipulate it in their favor. They make sure it's in their favor. And that's what they,
And
that's
there's no
24/7.
reason why the rest of us can't learn that either.
Right.
But we don't. We like to be distracted. And what did Julius Caesar tell Mark Anthony 2044 years ago? I think it is. He said, "What is it?" Mark Anthony said, "Oh, great Caesar, what do you think the Roman people are going to think of you being made dictator for life?" He said, "Feed them and entertain them, and they won't give a damn."
Mhm.
And what he said was, "Donne pane e Excelsior," give them bread and circuses, and they won't care. And circuses were the gladiatorial events, the horse races, chariot races, wrestling matches, boxing matches, contests, the plays in the arena. They don't care. And we get Atlanta Housewives, Pose, NBA, NFL, LB, and we don't care.
Right.
Don't judge him, Joe Brown.